someone I was interested in hearing, like learning about.
Yeah.
Like there was this podcast I listened to where this like FX artist who I think is like awesome just happened to go on it, and I was like, oh my god, like that's cool. So I don't know. I think that's so maybe you'll like pick up.
Well, and I mean that's the hope for sure.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably a good place to start if you're good.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, welcome back to Articulate with Stevie McJones. That's me, and Izzy.
Hi.
Atrocity. Izzy Atrocity. Is that your real name?
No, that's not. That would be really cool.
That
It's
would be cool.
Isabelle Isel, but I like my socials are Izzy Atrocity.
It's funny you said you just listened to a podcast because there was like an SFX artist. So Izzy does special effects for films?
For film, for the entertainment industry, basically for anything anyone needs special effects for.
Yeah. And this is always what I love. You were like, there's like an SFX artist that I look up to. And so it's like, there are things that, again, the reason why I have people on this podcast all the time, because there's so many like niche groups, and they're like, yeah, there's a hero with a nutritionist that I look. It's like, bro, there's a hero nutritionist that people look up to.
The world gets like, I was thinking about the other day, because it just like, you just sink deeper. If you get into something, you just sink deeper and deeper into it. And like, there's so many things to like learn and know, and people to know, and like,
or understand that you don't know.
I don't know. There's like a lot of parallels, I'm sure, even in comedy, like a lot of being like, oh my god, like you probably have like a lot of friends too that all know each other in comedy.
Oh yeah, it's a tight knit group for sure. I'm not friends with any of them though. They suck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So how did you even like? Bro, were you just like a fucked up kid? Like,
so
based on your art, it's like gory.
Yeah, I was trying
bloody.
to like, and it's funny because I get asked that all the time. I like talk about where I started a lot, because when people are in my chair for hours, we do small talk, and they're always like, "How did you get into like doing this?" And I feel like I always have a different answer, just because. And then I kind of like, there was just a lot of things that like led up to it. Long story short, I loved Halloween as a kid, but I also was like deathly scared of horror movies. I couldn't go to haunted houses. It all just freaked me out so much, and I had nightmares and stuff. Like I watched Pet Sematary at like maybe like 8 or 9, couldn't sleep for like months, and I just feel like, but I just loved dressing up, and I loved Halloween, and then I feel like eventually it kind of just like switched over to more of like I liked being scared, and it became like being scared became a fascination.
Yeah.
And like learning about how it's done. And then I just always thought that was really cool. And I also, in middle school and high school, a lot of my friends were really into cosplay. Yeah. And, that was really fun. I didn't love the process of making costumes as much, but like I would do it anyways because I thought it was cool.
Right.
And there was one time, like, and this was like, I guess, very like pivotal point, or I feel like got me really into it. My friend and I did Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and
What was this?
Sub-Zero and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Yeah.
And she brought blood and this stuff called rigid collodion that creates scars. And in our hotel room before the convention, she showed me how to use it, and we like splattered blood on each other. And I was just like, this is it. Yeah. And like everybody thought we were so cool. And I just like, that was like, the costume was fun, but it was just the blood and like that. I was like, that's so fun. And, and
it was interesting because it was like a fear of yours. It's almost like you're an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I think it is, because like, it's funny. I think that is like being scared is my adrenaline in horror movies and haunted houses and stuff. Cause like, I don't really like, adrenaline with like, I don't like roller coasters and stuff like that. So I think
it's definitely different. I wonder, scared. I guess there's subsets of like emotion under scared.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. And it just it came fascination. Now I'm like obsessed. But and then I eventually I went to school for it, and here I am. So,
yeah. I mean, when was that? When was that like Mortal Kombat moment?
So that was, I think, my sophomore year of high school.
Oh, so it was early.
Yeah, so it was early on. But again, like I was playing around with makeup beforehand. That was just like the first time I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. And then I played with it a lot in high school.
Yeah, were you scary in high school?
Yeah, I mean, I was a weird kid. Sure. I was like a scene kid, emo kid, so like I guess I was scary in that way.
Oh, sure, yeah, no. I can see the overlap.
Yeah, and then it overlapped into like, I would do crazy makeup, and I would just try, look at YouTube videos and try different things. And then I did like the first thing I did on other people is that my senior year of high school, they were doing Macbeth,
Mm.
and I never did theater before, and I was like, dude, let's like go gory, and we did like slashes and
Oh,
stabs, and like
wow.
I think all of them hated me. All the theater
Yeah.
kids were like
Did
covered
this,
in blood.
yeah. And the principal was like, what? Who
Yeah,
approved
exactly.
this?
Yeah, exactly. I think like I kind of did like I went pretty ham. I mean, it looked like shit, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I actually wasn't gonna finish high school because I skipped school a lot, and I found this school called VAMP in Orlando, Vocational Academy of Makeup and Prosthetics. I'm like, I want to go.
Oh, it wasn't short for vampire? That's
No,
interesting.
but you know, you
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's funny, but yeah.
Wait. So how did you find that? You were skipping school? What were you doing
So
while
yeah,
you were skipping
I
school?
was
Sorry.
actually we skipped school to so I'm turning this away from me. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So it's funny actually. Like I was like looking at this school online just because I was looking up special effects and stuff, and it showed that it was in Orlando. And I'm from Tampa, Florida.
Okay, yeah.
And my other friend, who I skipped school with a lot, saw it too, and she was like, "Let's go check it out."
Yeah.
So we went on a school day,
Oh, classic,
skipped
sure.
school,
Yeah.
and we saw it, and I was like,
We went to another
"Yeah, we
school,
went.
so
We
it's
skipped
okay.
school to check out another school."
Nerd.
And the two of my other friends went with. We all just like, but it was fun because like they were just checking it out for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, like I wanted to do it, and I was not on track to graduate. And they told me, I didn't walk. I just, didn't like school that much.
Sure.
They told me that you had to have a high school diploma in order to attend.
Oh.
And so I graduated in 2 weeks,
Oh.
like since when I was told that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and left the same week to go to school.
Whoa. So
Yeah.
you like got your shit together and
I
just
got
did
my
it really
shit
quick
together,
right
yeah.
before you didn't walk, but they like
I
let you do
didn't
like
walk.
assignments late or something?
Yeah, there was this like program where basically for 2 weeks I just like went ham. I finished up all
Yeah.
the credits I was missing, and I went off. And
How
did
exciting
it.
was that though?
It was really cool. I felt really good, especially because like nothing really interested me except for that. Like I remember I was like, oh, like I think cosplay's cool. I think makeup's cool. Like I don't know what I want to do when I graduate. I kind of was like, oh, like, it'd be cool. I want to be a waitress at Chili's, and
Yeah.
like just be like, in my hometown in Florida doing that because I love Chili's. But
Sure.
so I'm glad I kind of found something, and it kind of motivated me to finish school and go and do that.
Right.
Instead, so yeah.
No, that's real cool. Well, I mean, like, I don't know what I want to do. I still
Yeah.
don't know what I want to do. So, like, that's why I was
Yeah.
asking you if it was exciting because
It was really exciting.
I mean, there's some things that I try, like, after doing stand up and like having a good set for the first time, or
Mhm.
like, being on in a scene or something and like
Yeah.
really like feeling it and be like, oh, I could do this
It
forever
is-
and just be like
yeah.
exhilarated.
I feel really lucky because I feel like, especially like, I mean, we're both the same age, so I feel like we kind of understand like the states you're in, and like a lot of friends and people I see, like they still don't know
Mhm.
what their thing is yet. And sometimes people don't have things,
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just happy kind of making money, doing your thing. But like, I feel really lucky that like, high school's like when you finish, it's like, okay, like now start life. Like, what do you do? And I found it and immediately, and I've just
Yeah.
been doing it, and I feel really
That's sick.
lucky. Yeah. I mean, it's like the source of all my happiness. It's how like make most of my friends. Like, I
Yeah,
met you
so
on a
true.
gig,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's kind of how I met my fiance. Like,
really?
so yeah,
We should get there, but
Yeah,
so
sorry.
so what was the school like though?
The school, so it
Was it like also like a wide range, or was it everybody right after high school? Like that was the school that they went
no,
to?
it was a wide range. There is
Oh.
people who went there after the military.
Okay.
The oldest, I know like there must have been people older attending, but the oldest person in my class was like in their like mid-30s.
Yeah. I bet the classes had really cool names.
Oh, well, so basically, VAMP it's again, it stands for the Vocational Academy of Makeup and Prosthetics, and there's 2 courses. There's a beauty course,
Oh.
and then there was the course that I took, which was Modern Effects and Makeup Artistry.
Okay.
It was a 6-month course. It was 5 days a week from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
for 6 months straight.
Wow.
And yeah, we taught, like, they just basically gave you the building tools to start in it. Like, we learned airbrushing, mask making, sculpting, how to make prosthetics.
Yeah.
how to like work properly on set, how to do like
Yeah, so
things
is
on
that
your
where like the
kit.
film thing kind of layered into before?
Yes.
Because it sounded like you hadn't. I mean, you did like a theater
Yeah,
production.
so it was funny though. Yeah, they like told you a little bit on like how to negotiate and how you're expected to um they actually never taught me how to act on set or how sets work. They just showed you like how to properly work with applying things there. So when it came to learning anything set, that was all from just being on sets.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, sets are hard to teach anything about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's the
Oh, I learned
experience.
everything. You kind of just pretend like you know what they're talking about,
Right. Right.
be like, like even like learning what 10-1 meant and
Right.
like, I'm like,
10-2.
oh, I can't tell you, like I gotta pee, like. But it's crazy. Like I still get like different roles confused. Like, sometimes I'm like, it takes me a minute to figure out like who's the grip, who's the gaffer, like,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I still know a lot more now, but when you don't go to film school, sometimes you just learn just being on set. So yeah, all my set etiquette and everything I've learned from film is very much just from doing it for the past like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is that what they were setting you up for? Like, what other purposes would there be, and have you done anything else outside of film with these skills?
Yeah, so I've done a lot. I work very heavily in the haunted attraction industry.
Mm.
I
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I've been working at Eastern State Penitentiary.
Oh, cool.
That used to be Terror Behind the Walls, now Halloween Nights, since 2017 or 2018, I believe.
Mm.
And then I also, for about 2 years, I worked at a haunted attraction company where we made props, masks, and costumes and sold them to different haunted attractions.
Oh, cool.
I mean, that's like just one thing, but I get hired to like make things for people who just want things. Like I just made for an artist in Philly, they're doing like an art gallery. Um, and they hired me to make them uh, chocolate molds that were little fetuses
Whoa.
because they wanted to hand out chocolate fetuses to people. So I made the mold for them. I mean, it's just, I like whatever, if I can do it for you, I'll do it. So there's
Yeah.
everyday people who just want it,
Yeah.
like, and if you have the money, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So
Chocolate Fetuses sounds like a Prince album or something. That's
yeah,
so
right.
sick.
No, it was really cool. Like I can't think of.
Yeah, what else? What other weird? What's the grossest thing you've done?
So this was for a film, but the grossest thing I've done,
Yeah.
and it is on my Instagram.
Was it the one that got blocked for
Yeah.
being too graphic?
No, I mean that's a lot of
That's
my
all.
things. Yeah. But and it's for the Disgusting Amateur for his short film, Man Who Ate America.
Whoa.
It's about a competitive eater, and I made a fake penis for him that could be worn as a strap on.
Cool.
And the idea was that he passed large kidney stones through it. So it's the aftermath of what his penis looks like after. I'm sorry if I can't.
No,
can I
you're
say
good.
penis?
You're totally
'Cause
fine.
I'm gonna get graphic.
No,
Okay.
I'm with it.
Okay, and so the top of the head looks like a clicker.
Okay.
And then for the same film, I also got to make a butthole that had a little bit of cheek, and
Little cheek.
and we used a micro lens and pushed a giant bloody turd through it.
That's kind of awesome.
So yeah, that's gonna be playing at Philomoka May 6th too.
Okay.
So if you
Heard. What's today? Let's see if this comes out by
want.
then.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. So that's the grossest thing I've done.
Yeah, you must. Yeah, you must meet a lot of interesting characters.
I do.
In this line of,
Yes.
of work.
That guy's actually pretty chill, surprisingly. You like
Yeah.
never know, like
Yeah.
it's the guy who asked for a bruise who's the actual creep, you know?
Oh yeah.
But no, I meet some really interesting people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Talk more
yeah.
about that.
I've met some really, really, I mean, the most interesting people I've met is definitely the people who've like been in horror movies that like I love and admire. Like I met the first movie I ever did, I got to meet 3 really cool people. Damien Maffei, who is in Strangers Pray at Night
Mm.
and Haunt. And I also met Ashlyn Yenny, who was in Human Centipede.
Oh.
And she's actually the most like down-to-earth, coolest person ever. And I was really lucky that she like shared her experience with me of being
Yeah.
on that film. And Hannah Fearman, who was in VHS, the first VHS.
Yeah.
So those were like probably
That's
some of the
awesome.
coolest people I met, and that was crazy because that was my first film.
Yeah.
There's also sure plenty of cooler people, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
no.
it's all very, very interesting
Yeah,
people.
I mean, I meet other cool people who aren't just actors,
Yeah,
but that's
no.
like the ones that come to the top of
Yeah,
my
those are the
head.
cool people. And the
Yeah.
weirdos you try to work with once and then leave
Yeah.
behind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you get humbled very quickly on
Yeah.
certain things. I've worked with some weirdos. I mean, my job is basically meeting strangers on the internet for money.
Sure.
I haven't had any dangerous experiences, but I've definitely had ones where like I'm, like kind of in someone's crack house, like not being fed. And I'm like, oh
Ooh.
God, like, do I really need this money?
Yeah.
But like, so even the weirdest people want to make movies. And
That's
if they
true.
give me money, I'll show up and do it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad that it's not the guy that wants a bloody shit.
Yeah.
That is like,
No, it's
he's like the cool guy.
it's crazy because even like I only met him briefly, but Damien Leone, who was in Terrifier, you've seen or at least heard
I've
of
seen
it.
Terrifier 2. I haven't seen the
Terrifier
first
2.
one,
Well, a lot of people think he's probably this like crazy guy.
Yeah.
He's like a chill, quiet dude. Like honestly, like you really can't judge a book by its cover because again, it's like it's not the people you think it is.
Well,
you know.
you could say the same for yourself. You know, meeting you on set is like you were chill and
yeah, like
immediately.
I'm not that crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't seem like a fucked up person.
Yeah, that was also a pretty chill set though. Like you didn't seem on a real gory horror movie. Sometimes I get really into it.
Yeah, well, it was chill for you. Being the AD was a little different. But...
Yeah, no, that was fun. You did a very great job on
Thank
that.
you, I
AD
appreciate
for
that.
the first time.
I
That was
tried.
great. That was a very fun time.
It was a fun set. Yeah, I had a really good time. So what, like, within the craft of it, right? What was the hardest thing to learn or to do now?
Money.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, I mean,
Because you had to start your own business, right? You're an
Yeah.
independent contractor.
yeah, exactly. Working as
Right.
an independent contractor, I'm still figuring it out, but it's really hard just as a freelancer in general. I'm like, I'm bad with numbers, so I'm gonna become an artist. I'm gonna become a freelancer. But then it's funny because, those are the kind of people who have to deal with keeping track of their money and keeping track of their taxes and,
Yeah.
also like properly charging people for your time and negotiating it because it's the hardest thing to figure out. And I'm still like, I've gotten better at it, but that's definitely, I do have to say, like the hardest thing to deal with and quoting people properly and giving proper timing and stuff like that. So it's definitely been the technical part because it's the least fun part. I wish,
Of course, yeah.
sometimes I wish like,
Just get an
someone else
accountant.
could take care of that for me and I could just do all the fun stuff.
Yeah. If I was just like famous and had an accountant, it'd be fine. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. But
gotta work to
it
get
really
there.
is the most challenging part, especially because like, you just don't think about it when you become, a freelance artist, because I'm like, oh, like I'm not normal. I want to do something a little bit more creative. And there's a lot of not creativeness that comes into it if you don't want to get arrested for tax fraud.
Yeah. No, I definitely see that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with my whole journey.
Yeah.
Like you said, we're both 25.
Yeah.
And it's like, what am I building here?
Yeah,
like,
you're
what
like,
am I actually?
I guess I should start filing my taxes before the government notices.
Right. Before you actually, well, and if like you start actually making real money too,
Mhm.
that's when you're gonna be like, damn, I should have been.
That's where I'm just starting now to like really have good money coming in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I gotta start,
Doing the things
for it. So
I'll cut this so you don't get
oh
you
yeah,
don't
no,
get any
the
tax.
IRS is
People, yeah.
watching right now.
That's funny. But yeah, I mean, that's probably the hardest thing of any job. I would say that's like you said, any independent contracting, and especially like for creative people, it's like, bro, I don't want to think about money. That's the whole reason I went into creative stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, I don't even wanna
exactly. And it's
think
hard
about
to have that
business at all.
realization and be like, wow, like honestly, like, for a while, like if you don't want to deal with that stuff, get a job where you're working for a company because that's going to be I don't know, because I've done it before, but like you'll have everything taken care of. You don't have to book yourself. You just you show up,
Yeah.
you do your work and you leave. But when it's freelancing, I have to book myself. I have to keep track of timing. I have to time manage my life.
Yeah.
I have to, and it's also 12-hour days. So it's like this
dude.
work-life balance and it gets really hard. And then, yeah.
So yeah, like the companies would be like what, production companies just have SFX people on hand?
Usually it's more of like, at least on my end, because everybody works so differently and everybody has different ways of getting work.
Yeah.
For me, it's very much like, production companies or producers or whoever's on the project. Like, if they already know me, like, I'll be their go-to.
Okay.
Or like, they get recommended
Yeah.
me and stuff like that.
And that just feels a lot simpler because they know your style and like how you work
exactly.
and
And like, ideally in a world where like that's comes with, oh, I'm making more money now.
everything.
Excuse me, it's the Red Bull.
No, you're good.
The goal is like, because right now, I'm half working through word of mouth and half hustling to find work. And when you become very successful, you eventually know so many people and have so many networks and have so many connections that you'll be hit up enough through word of mouth
You don't have to hustle anymore.
to where you don't have to hustle anymore.
Right.
And so that's the goal eventually. And like every year, because once I work with someone and they like me, unless I'm busy, I'm going to be the person they hit up. Networking's a very big part of it too.
Yeah.
And, just trying to be like a likable person because, there's people who are just as good as me and even better, but, my advantage could be like, well, I made you laugh a lot on set too. So like, not only am I good, but like I'm also really funny and good to be around. So like that's how I try to like, because there's people who are just as good as me. There are plenty of people who are better than me. So like obviously,
but some of them are dicks.
Yeah, but some of them suck to be around. So that's been like a really big point of it too. And like my friend and I were talking about it the other day, how it's like sometimes people look down on people kind of being like fake or like trying to be like overly friendly to people.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, like I'll flirt with someone for them to give me like a really good job.
Right,
it's just the hustle. It's a freelance thing.
Sure.
Like if that's gonna get me really good
We're all
work,
adults.
like, I'm gonna make someone like me. Like I try to do full makeup every day on set and look done up on set. And sometimes it's also like people don't mind being around like a pretty girl all day on set.
Yeah,
so like
that
if I'm gonna work with what I have to my advantage, like
wow, no, that's a good way to put it for sure. Instead of being like just a creepy dude in the corner.
Exactly. I mean, like there's nothing wrong. Like the older men also have their advantages. They look wiser. They look like they know what they're doing. Sometimes my disadvantages is that like being a young girl, sometimes it looks like I'm not experienced or like, it used to be a very male dominated industry. I think that's changing. I don't believe that. I work with mainly women.
Oh.
But yeah, like, instead of being like, oh, like, people don't want to hire me because I'm a woman and like blah, 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 I'm going to be like, no, like I'm going to take that advantage. And a lot of people want to hire me because I'm a woman, you know? So it's just part of the hustle, I guess.
Yeah. But then it's cool because, like you said, I feel like sets are such cool places to meet people.
It's so fun. I mean, most of my friends are from sets.
Yeah.
Like it's so fun. Like, I mean, it's like an adrenaline rush. It's like a big hang most of the time.
Yeah,
know?
It is. Well, yeah. At some points,
well, for me, I'm just kind of frolicking around, like making friends, unless I'm like really busy. But like some sets are harder for me than others. So.
For sure, yeah. And I'm not trying to like downplay it,
Oh no, I'm downplaying myself right now. Like I'm definitely like I just did a short film with my friends the other day, and like all they needed was like bruising and cuts, and I was kind of just there. It was barely any work, and I was like, damn, like all you guys probably think I do is like play on my phone and do a bruise here and there and make jokes. But then like other times when it's like a very heavy like slasher, like
you're on top of it.
I'm on top of it.
And you're like working with them, in the makeup, and you have to get them done at a certain time. And
so it just really depends. Like the sky, like again, like I have some days where I'm paid the same amount, and I'm doing like chopping people in half. I'm slitting throats. I don't have time to breathe or eat, and I have a gig where someone's paying me soon to just hand off the blood for someone to spit out.
Whoa.
Yeah, and that's all I'm doing.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, because they were like, it's like just one less thing I have to deal with. So, I don't know, it's really a weird and strange job,
right.
But...
Yeah, well, one thing that I did want to talk about, especially after you say that you're like chopping people in half, slitting throats. What was interesting was like the, for us, probably guns are probably some of the more technical stuff you have to do, like gunshots and explosions, right?
Yeah.
And there was a moment on set where, I was like, as the AD, I'm like, bro, we gotta fucking go. So I was like, Izzy, please, we like just do this as fast as possible. And you were
Yeah.
like, bro, this needs
I know
to.
I shut you
Yeah,
down.
you shut me down real quick. You're like, there's a lot of safety. So was that like something that they taught you in the class, and like how has like kind
They
of?
never actually taught me safety. They did teach me like more cleanliness. When it comes to safety, that was definitely something I learned over time. Very much in like just from watching other people. Like I very much I feel like I try to handle squibs the way armorers would handle guns.
What's a squib?
So technically what we did wasn't a real squib. I'm just calling it a squib because it's very similar, but it's basically the blood effects that we were doing. So that a squib is with an actual explosive, where with what I'm doing was with air. So it's fake squib.
Interesting, yeah.
But, like, it's still, like, CO2 canisters, and it's, like, not done very often. So I still try to take it as safe as possible because you just never know. And there's also very much, like, it's very sensitive things. And also, you only have one take.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to at least
that time, for
when you
sure.
have an expensive set, you can do it as many times as you want. But, like, we're like, we can only afford.
We have to rig this. We only have one set of wardrobe. That
One
we can
set
get
of
covered in
wardrobe and the
blood.
rigging. So not only is it like a safety issue, but it's also like, we need to not rush this and we need to take our time and get it right the one time because in the end, that's what's going to save us the amount of time.
Yeah, I kind of felt that vibe a little bit on that day, like how precautious we were being. And like there was a moment right before we were about to where I was like, everybody take a deep breath.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny because that's I think that's one of the big adrenaline rushes we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And it happens every time. So, and it's mainly with like, you apply a makeup, you're fine, it's good to go. But when it comes to slit throats, explosions, just any kind of blood gag, I did a decapitation that was very similar to it's the same with the gunshots you have. And it's because I haven't worked on anything big enough to where we have multiple takes yet.
Yeah.
So it is every time I do something like that, I don't know if you felt it too, my heart races.
Oh, yeah.
And like I am choking up and I just have to sit there. And every time I see a BTS recording of me, you can see it on my face. And then when it goes off and it goes well, it's just this
yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
And then everybody it also is a good feeling because then we do the playback and I'm like,
yeah,
it turned out pretty good, didn't it?
Yeah, it's such high stakes, right? Yeah, it reminds, and then everybody's like tense as tense as fuck, and then you have to wait. The director looks at the playback, and then Diva was like, "We got it." And I go, "We got it." Everyone's like,
"Yeah, exactly." And honestly, what was really great about that set, and I don't always have the opportunity, is that we rehearsed it, and I think that was so important and was so well used that extra time we had to. Because I have had times where it wasn't rehearsed, and I've only had one time where the blood gag went really, really wrong.
Oh no.
And we actually were supposed to rehearse it. We didn't. And it looked bad. And it looked like actually I heard that it turned out pretty well, but I definitely felt like I couldn't show my face with that crew after. But it just I also learned from that as well. Most of the time, 99% of the time it goes right. But also the thing is that and I think every job on crew is hard in their own ways, but I do think that what makes this a little bit different than others doing effects is that we're not pushing a button, we're not following a standard thing. We're not
it's not like a template that you can use for every single thing.
Exactly. I don't. Someone's like, "Are these blood drops gonna hit here, here, and here?" I'm like, "I don't fucking know." We're gonna see. I was like, "We're about to find out in 2 minutes." I can't. People ask me that. They'll be like, "So where's this gonna go?" And I'm like, "This
all over the place.
General direction. Is it gonna get on me? Maybe.
Probably. We had to wrap it down in the
he was smart.
Saran
That
wrap.
is it's so funny. A lot of camera guys do that, and that kills me.
It was so good.
Yeah, no, it was so good. I've gotten a lot of blood on cameras, unfortunately, and a lot of blood on booms.
Oh no. Yeah. No, that makes sense. But so what was do you have a favorite set experience?
Is it more of thing I just had fun with people, or is
I want
it
to say
more
the
of
one
just,
that you felt most on your shit and
accomplish?
Yeah.
I would have to say honestly, there's two. The one I really think about a lot is this feature I did called Crimson Shadows.
Mm.
It's about lesbian vampires in Philly.
Fun.
And
Love it.
yeah,
I'm
thank
in.
you. Why I felt really accomplished in it is they actually didn't hire an effects artist originally for it.
Oh.
They were just going to have production design take care of it. But there was a lot of effects in it. So that was like crazy. And they actually had me, because like, someone was busy or whatever, they had me come on the second day of filming and do like a little effects makeup for them. It's like, okay. And then they're like, oh, like, can you just stay the rest of the time filming this feature? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, and this is actually decapitation. I said, they're like, oh, by the way, there's like a decapitation like tomorrow. No, like, not tomorrow, but like, like during, coming up. And it was a bunch of stuff like that where it was like blood gags and decapitations and wounds and stuff. And there was a lot of people I knew on that set.
Yeah.
So it was actually Devo was on that set.
Oh, nice.
And it was just cool because I pulled all of these effects things out of my ass. And they looked great.
Nice.
So that was like a really, really big booster, and that was just fun because
that feels like kind of where the creativity comes out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I kind of like the challenge, and it was fun. And like I did like most of the time these require like weeks to months worth of prep.
Yeah.
And like I ordered a mannequin wig head on Amazon. I cut her head in half and I like tubed her. It looked great. And that was the guy who did the decapitation was Robert Picardo, who played the Doctor in Star Trek.
Oh,
so that
wow.
like, and it impressed him.
Hell
so that was cool. And so that one was really good. And then probably the most biggest one I've done recently was Stalked. And that was with the girl Katie Sarif, and also it starred Heather Langenkamp, who was in the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, wow.
So that was really cool. Why that one, I wanted to bring up that one because it's just hard to like kind of pinpoint one.
Yeah.
So I ran a team on that one,
Oh,
and it was
that's
like
a little different.
Yeah, exactly. And it was just like a lot of really big effects, and we did months worth of prep and put so much money into it. And I had.
So you almost step into like a managerial role.
Yeah, I had 4 amazing artists working underneath me, and like we did so much. And yeah, like I'm really proud of the shots we got in that. And yeah, we did some crazy things. So that was really cool just because that was like the biggest role I've ever had and the most trust I've ever had.
Right.
So that was my biggest job.
Yeah, so I mean, like, you already said, first of all, it sounds like you shouldn't be hustling. It sounds like you already got some real credits,
the thing is like, it's crazy because like, and you get humbled very quickly because I did Stalked, and that was a huge job. I'm being paid very well. And then things get so slow. Come December, I'm like, I was just like doing like a really weird job for really cheap and like with these really weird people because that's the only work I could get at the moment.
Right.
So it just really depends. There's also slow seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can get really big work, but it happens to almost every artist to where like when things get slow, you just take anything. Things are really picking up for me now though. But
nice.
From like December to, I would probably say like March, early April, like it just sometimes gets dead and there's no work. And like there's like usually like posts and stuff looking for people sometimes. And I'm like fighting for my life for this job with like artists who are even better than me. I'm like, what are you doing here? This rate's not even good. But sometimes it's just
the
things.
Game.
Yeah, it's just the game. Like things slow down. That's why a lot of artists are in the union.
Yeah, right.
And that's something like a goal eventually.
And so that's what like I'm kind of getting at is like, where do you want to like go with it? You know what I mean? What's like the highest high that you could even achieve as like an SFX artist?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would just love to be able to say I did the makeup for like an iconic horror movie. Like people always ask me, oh, like what have you done? And I'm like, nothing you would have seen, like I try, like usually I'll be like, well, if you want to know something cool, like I got to work with this person who was in this really cool thing, but like nothing I've done, people usually know. So that's the goal. I would love to just be known for doing something really big. I would just love to be like up there, and so that would be really cool. And I also like, I don't know what direction I'm going yet. I'm trying to get into the union. Just for safety and like also making more money and stuff like that. But the union can also be very boring sometimes because you're doing tattoo cover-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm like debating back and forth. Like I'd like to see if I can even get in because it's really hard. But I also like, oh, maybe I want to open up my own shop one day. But who knows? Because I also would like love to just be just a traveling FX artist and be like flown out from place to place. I also have my own business.
Right.
I don't know if I told you about it yet. So the prosthetic business I do.
Oh, shit, no.
So I also, right now it's just an Etsy, but I do have a prosthetic business where I make and sell prosthetics for other artists. Then I also use the same prosthetics for my own jobs.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, that's a perfect side hustle.
Yeah,
for, like,
it is a perfect side hustle for me because that's like what I work on when I'm not on set.
Yeah.
So, I don't love selling product, but it does very well. And if I put more into it, I think it could do more. So I have no idea where I'm gonna end up.
Yeah.
But definitely the dream would again just be known to do an iconic horror movie. I think it'd be so cool.
Yeah, that's the dream. But I mean, it also sounds like, I mean, what I'm finding out, after trying so many things is that part of the fun is just doing different things all the time. You know what I mean?
I'm always down to try different things, and like it's so cool. Like, I mean, I did a kids movie last summer with no effects, and it was the best time I ever had. Yeah, I mean, my friend's a makeup artist, and we were supposed to do something else together, and it didn't work out. And she was like, well, hey, like, they're filming a kids movie in Massachusetts and I need an assistant. Do you want to come? It's like, sure, why not? And there's no effects, but it was so fun. It was just a good crew. And I was just chilling, like carrying a makeup bag for my friend. And so it's just, I'm willing to do anything. If I'm like, if I know how to do it, I'll do it.
If I can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I think part of that also that plays into that is, what you were talking about before, kind of the adrenaline of, new things and like the stakes being something that you're like, oh, and I think that kind of links back to, your origin of being a little scared at the beginning.
Maybe, honestly, I think so. Just because even it is like, I've gotten a lot better at it. But a lot of these like things I show up to, I've never met anyone before, and I don't even know what anyone looks like, and that also is like kind of scary because I'll just show up to a set and everybody's already setting up, and all these people look so intimidating, and like so that's always been scary. It's gotten a little bit easier because I'm like, whatever, like I'll show up, and now I kind of just show up and literally just start doing my own thing until someone tells me not to. But it definitely is like it's just exciting. Like there's nothing more fun for me than being on a set, and I think that's why it's like my life surrounds it, and that's why you don't know effects artist really is making bank. You can make good money, but you're never like, if your like goal in life is to be like filthy rich, you'd be in the wrong field. I am enjoying what I am doing while I'm working, and that's why I don't need to make money to pay for something I can do when I'm not working. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I would be doing this for free if I wasn't getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal, right? It's just to like do what you love and then also have money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I get to do it. I feel like really. Sometimes I get like, obviously, like second. Yeah, I mean, you understand. Sometimes it's like, what am I doing?
Turn 25, you're like, oh,
yeah. Oh my God, no. Sometimes I like, get discouraged, and it's funny. I recently was on ZipRecruiter looking for painters jobs, and I was like, I'm gonna be a painter. Like, I need to like do something more serious, and that was just because work was slow and I was insecure. But no, and then I come back and I, have the most amazing experiences, and I'm like,
and you remember why you started doing it in the first place.
I love doing this, and I'm very, very lucky that I can do it, and actually like people want to pay me to do it, and I just want to do it, you know. So I feel very, very lucky and very fortunate.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I think that's probably a good place to kind of wrap up.
Okay,
I think. Yeah. But obviously she needs work. So where can the people find you?
Yeah, hire
me.
About it. I'll make you fetuses.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram. It's Izzy Atrocity. You can also check out my website, Isel. That's IZZYISEL FX.com. That's my portfolio.
Yeah, I like how you said that outside of the microphone.
Oh shit!
No,
can
don't
you hear
pick
me?
it up. It's just funny.
Sorry, I was looking at the camera.
Izzy Atrocity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming outside. This was a good time tonight.
It was so fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
It felt weird though, because like I felt like I'm like, I'm not asking you any questions. I'm so rude.
No, don't even worry. Well, yeah, I'm going to give you a fist bump and we'll wrap it up, though. Thank you.